Hello everyone, in this lecture let us see what is dielectric heating or high frequency capacitive heating. So dielectric heating also sometimes called high frequency capacitive heating. So this is employed for heating insulators like wood, plastics and all. So this is the only method helpful for us for heating what we say insulators or non-conductors. Okay, by using this method we can heat insulators uniformly, which is not possible by any other method. So the supply frequency required for dielectric heating is between supply frequency is nearly 10 to 50 megahertz. So that means we operate this dielectric heating furnace at very high frequencies, and also voltage level is up to 20 kV. Right? So coming to the efficiency of this dielectric heating, efficiency is nearly 50%. So you can see that the efficiency is very low. So the operation of this dielectric heating is done at very high frequencies and voltages also. Right? So let us now go to the principle of dielectric heating. So this is based on the principle of capacitor. That is, when a capacitor is subjected to a sinusoidal voltage, the current drawn by it is never leading the voltage by exactly 90 degrees. Actually, according to the principle, it must lead exactly by 90 degrees, but it practically never happens. So the corresponding angle difference between that current and voltage is slightly less. So what happens due to that? There is a small in-phase component of the current which produces the required loss for us, which is helpful for dielectric heating. So let us see that in detail what happens. So we know that, so if we take this as a supply voltage V, so the current must lead this voltage in a capacitor by exactly 90 degrees, but it does not happen, right? So let us suppose this is the angle between voltage and current in a capacitor. So due to which there is, if we take its resultant, we will get some in-phase current with the supply voltage V. Also the remaining component of the current we can take it as charging current. So now this difference in angle, let us take it as del. Right? So where IC is a charging current and IP, let me take it as in-phase current. So this in-phase current is responsible for the required losses, due to which we are going to heat a non-conducting material. Right? Let us see how it is contributing to the amount of losses. Right? So now the insulating material to be heated will be placed between two conducting plates. See, two conducting plates, these are the two conducting plates in order to form a parallel plate capacitor. Right? So now we can write the power drawn from the supply P, we can write it as V into I cos pi r naught. Right? From where we get, from this phasor diagram we will be getting charging current IC. If you see, it is nothing but I is equals to V by XC, where XC is nothing but 1 by 2 pi FC. So from where I can write the charging current as 2 pi FCV. Right? So from where I can write P is equals to V into 2 pi FCV into cos phi, from where I get 2 pi FCV square cos phi r naught. Right? Where phi is nothing but 90 degrees minus del r naught. Can I write it from here? Phi is nothing but, this phi is nothing but total 90 degrees minus this one. So which implies cos phi is nothing but cos of 90 minus del, which can be written as sin delta, or as it is 90 minus, it can be written as tan delta. So where delta is very small, like we have already discussed that it is not leading the voltage by exactly 90 degrees, but there is a small angle difference between those two. We have told that there is a small angular difference. For such a small angular difference, I can consider tan delta is equals to del. Right? So as del is very small, I am going to write tan del is equals to del. So now I can represent P is equals to 2 pi f CV square del. What is this? It is in watts. Right? So where C is equals to capacitor of the plate can be written as epsilon R into A by T, or this is nothing but the formula for the capacitance, right? So where A is the thickness of the plate and T is the thickness of the plate and A is the area of the dielectric material used. So epsilon R, we know that it is nothing but relative permittivity, and epsilon naught is absolute permittivity of the vacuum. So this is about the dielectric heating, principle used in dielectric heating. So the component of the current which is in phase with the supply voltage, as the current will not be exactly leading the voltage by 90 degrees. So the amount of loss produced by this component is made use of in the dielectric heating. So this power will be converted into heat. Since for a given insulating material C and delta are constant, so now this C is constant, delta is constant for a particular material, right? So the dielectric loss can be written as what? V is proportional to V square F for now, right? So in this C is constant, del is constant, 2 pi is constant. So V square F. By varying these two variables, we can vary the amount of heat produced in this dielectric heating. So that is why this dielectric heating is done at very high voltages and high frequencies. This is the reason for high frequency used in dielectric heating. So coming to the advantages of dielectric heating. So uniform heating of the material is produced. Why? Because there are two plates which are given supply equally from the top and bottom, so that the amount of heat produced throughout the heating element in between those two plates can be uniformly heated, and faster operation can be achieved, right? With increase in frequency, heating is faster. We have seen that dielectric heating or dielectric loss produced is proportional to frequency. So that increase in frequency can increase the heat produced. This is the only method of heating bad conductor of heat, as we have already discussed. So this heating method can be immediately stopped by stopping the supply given to it. So by using this method, inflammables like plastic and wooden products also can be safely heated, right? Coming to the applications of dielectric heating. So applications comes like drying and gluing of wood, drying of rayon cakes in textile manufacturing, also dehydration of foods. This method also can be used for gluing of laminated glass, rubber vulcanizing, sterilization of bandages, absorbent, cotton, etc. So this is the all about dielectric heating. Hope you have understood the concepts. Thank you.